so I'm gonna go ahead and get started here.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Thank you.
So
Whoa, bro, chill.
looks like you're playing Mercy, okay?
Objective A.
Alright. Okay, so first thing I noticed is that there's a Bastion on the other team. So Pharah is going to be a good pocket pick for that. Just because Bastion, even at the higher levels, is hard to counter. The best way to do it is have people that can use the line of sight, and can avoid his cone of vision. So Pharah can use a corner, stick out, fire, peek back through, stick out, fire, peek back. That way Bastion doesn't have enough time to take her down. So yeah, Pharah's a good pick for boosting. Reinhardt's gonna have a really hard time. Yeah, that Reinhardt's gonna have a really hard time keeping his shield up there. So this is not a criticism of you, but the Reinhardt probably could have made a better pick rather than sticking with Reinhardt on this. Yeah, and your D.Va just got shredded by the Bastion. So I'm seeing now you got a Genji that's coming around behind you. So geez, let's see where you position yourself.
Ryan put his freaking shield up.
Okay, so they're going that way. So you're going the right way. Oh, nope, you turned around and went back in there. Okay, so yeah, with that Genji in there, it would have been good to go around the temple to the back towards your spawn to get around behind everybody again. With that Genji in there and the Reinhardt pushing forward, they're gonna be going right for you. So yeah, it's a good thing you have a Junkrat too. Junkrat's another good play against Bastion. So right now you have 3 people down. Just one person just respawned. But you also got Pharah and Reinhardt. Your Junkrat's kind of a little far ahead. You want to try to get your whole team together because right now you're doing like 3v4. Junkrat was able to pick off their Mercy though. That's good.
Did you tell me? Oh.
And you got looks like you got the Reinhardt coming up behind you now. So yeah, Junkrat's good to, and basically anybody's good to damage boost right now. He's not going to be able to wreck your tanks. And I'd say Junkrat would probably have been a better choice for damage boosting, just because he's going to be the one to break through the enemy's defenses. He's the one with the high damage output. Damage boosting D.Va is nice when she has big targets to hit, but when you're trying to wreck a shield. Oh, okay. So your Junkrat just ulted right there, and you were healing him, which is good. But he's not currently in any danger, and he's got a lot of potential damage right here. So when somebody's ulting, it's really good to damage boost them, especially if there's no risk to you, and it looks like your tanks are healed up and everybody's good on health. So it would have been good to stick with the Junkrat and damage boost him, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Does damage boosting him while his tire is out boost his tire damage?
I believe so. I believe it increases any damage that they are associated with.
Okay.
Yeah. I might be wrong on that, but it makes sense. Either way, you still got the Bastion, so that is a really good thing. Looks like your Pharah's in really good position as well, and yeah, she's the right person to jump to right now and damage boost. I haven't seen any hit scans besides that Bastion, so okay, I don't. Okay, let me back up. I haven't seen any hit scans on the enemy team besides that Bastion. So when Bastion's down, Pharah is a really good pick to boost. That's the pharmacy combo that is so popular and famous. But when you do that though, you want to make sure you're not putting yourself in danger, because if they have a hit scan, then they're going to be targeting you first rather than Pharah if they know what they're doing. I'm not entirely sure why you used your Valkyrie here, because it looks like everybody's at a decent amount of health. Let me back up and see what the enemy team is like. Yeah, you've only got like 1 or 2. It's not really, they don't have a lot of power to engage with. They've got their Mercy, they've got their Winston and Reaper, and that's all I can see right. Oh wait, they have a Junkrat as well. So really, you have them outnumbered. Nobody's taken a lot of damage just yet. Diva just got knocked out of her mech, but your Valkyrie's not going to really be able to help that. So I'm not sure the Valkyrie was really needed. I'd say wait until there's somebody to res. Yeah, and that's why. So yeah, Valkyrie is better used when there is somebody to res. That way you can hit the res and you still have another, and you can still keep pushing the team fight at that point. So yeah, probably could have timed the use of the Valkyrie when it was more needed.
Back in the fight.
So to make this more generically applicable, do you understand what I'm saying about when's a good time to use Valkyrie?
Yeah, in that particular case, I think I just heard stuff, and it seemed like a lot of people were down there, so and they were clustered, so I thought it'd be better to heal them all at once.
Yeah, when they're clustered, that is a good time to get the heals in. But if they don't need the heals, you can hold that Valkyrie for a time when it's actually going to make a much bigger impact on the team fight. Like when you'll actually be able to get reses going. Sometimes if you have two people down, you hit the Valkyrie, you get both those reses up, and then put the healing out to everybody. You've already made full use of Valkyrie's main draw. And then after that, if everybody gets to full health, you just switch to damage boost, and you can keep pushing with the team fight.
Capturing the objective. Try and
All right. Okay. It looks like their Bastion is in the little cave there, and that was a good placement of your Diva's ult. Okay, and so you res the Reaper. I would say the Reinhardt would have been a better pick, just because tanks are they have more health, so you're gonna get a lot more sustainability in the team fight by getting somebody up that has more health. So as a general rule of thumb with res, tanks should take priority. I understand if people are all dead on top of each other and clustered together, it can be hard to pick somebody out, but it is a good idea to try to single out the tanks.
Yep, if I see them, I can. Oftentimes, I can't see where they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. That you can lose it sometimes. We don't see everybody. The only exception is Diva. You want to make sure that she actually has some room to call her mech in, because she doesn't come back as a full tank. She comes back as a 90-pound Korean girl, which doesn't have a lot of sustainability, and she can be killed before her mech comes back in. So yeah, just make sure the area is clear if you're ever going to res a Diva. Other than that, tanks really should be the first pick. They'll help you stay in the fight a little longer. Okay, good job staying away from that Reinhardt. And it looks like he just got his ult shut down. That's good. So hang on, right here. It looks like the yeah, since you've gotten Reaper up, we've already gotten past that that Reaper is up now. The only two people that are really engaging from the enemy team are the Winston and the Reinhardt, and those are people that Reaper's really good at taking down. So by looking at the enemy team, seeing what's there, seeing what on your team counters them, Reaper would have been a good it would have been a good pick to damage boost Reaper for this fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to focus on Diva just because.
Yeah,
I just do.
Oh yeah, as a Diva main, I definitely appreciate it when I get the damage boost, because she has a lot of, like, she just has the sustain thing. She never runs out of ammo, and it really increases the damage she can put out. So I'm not saying it's a bad choice. Diva still does a lot of damage against tanks, but Reaper is just generally the tank killer. Now in hindsight, if you had damage boosted Reaper right there, you would have been right in Reinhardt's face. So it's probably better that you didn't damage boost him. Diva was a good safe pick there. Oh. Okay, yeah. Okay, great job of healing that Junkrat through that ult. That was a really good job of keeping him alive there. And good job of staying away from the enemies as well. Okay, so yeah, the Bastion's back up. Okay, yeah, good job of breaking line of sight there. The Reinhardt's still trying to put his shield up on it. Let's see how the team does. Okay, Pharah got him. Alright, so he was focused more on the tanks, and Pharah was able to get him, so that was good. That was a good fight. Their Reinhardt's way out of position. That is a great opportunity to just single him out and stagger him. Okay. So Pharah's good to damage boost here, but they'll probably have their Bastion set up again pretty soon. Yeah, I can hear the Bastion right now. Might have been good to be up there with your Junkrat, just because on this point specifically, you got that big barrier that he can just fire his grenades over, and you don't have to worry about him getting caught out by anybody. Pharah is still going to be decent to damage boost. D.Va's never really a bad choice. She can always use more damage. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a good jump to Pharah. Because going with your tanks, you might have gotten killed. Pharah was a good safe jump. Let's see, is your Junkrat up? Yeah, he is. Okay, and he got Bastion. Bastion got res. So yeah, right now you're kind of. Let's see, where's Bastion? Okay, he just went down. So yeah, it looks like the Bastion's not looking up enough. If he was, you were kind of in a very open area to for him to pick off. And let's see, you've got your ult ready right now. Your Reinhardt's down, so that would have been a great time to jump in and res the Reinhardt. It's because you've taken out their Rein, you've taken out their Bastion. They're focused on other things right now. And yeah, you could have gotten him up. So yeah, just prioritizing the res. I mean, sometimes it's not a good idea to dive into an enemy team to get a res. But in this case, you guys had won the team fight. You had an open opportunity, and you could have gotten the tank up. You didn't need to. You wouldn't have needed to use your ultimate for it, and you would have had everybody there.
Yeah, that's that awareness thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's not always easy. I still struggle with it sometimes, being aware of who's alive, who's not. But in that case, yeah, you guys had won the team fight. It was safe for you to dive in there. You know. But yeah, overall that was a good round though.
Score 2-0. Switching sides.
Yeah, nothing glaringly wrong. They did hold the contesting on the first point for a good while, but that was just because they were trickling in. They weren't going to win that. Still going as Mercy. Skip ahead. So you still got Pharah. You got Symmetra this time. Okay. Was there another healer with you on the first push? I don't think there was.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Right beside you. And we'll get through this just fine.
So right at the start here.
No, they don't hassle them up front.
Let's see what the opening is.
Attackers incoming.
Okay, where did your... Okay, your Symmetra's got her turret set up around the gate right here. One of them's kind of in plain sight. Alright, and Pharah's not a bad choice.
Jug guys, what are you guys?
Coming up the left, by the way.
Yeah, Pharah's never really a bad choice for the opening right here. Sounds like they've got a Genji. I think I hear a soldier as well, which is going to mean trouble for your Pharah.
Shield stayed.
Good pick on the Mercy. Yeah, so far you're doing well. You're not peeking your head out, not leaving yourself open to getting picked.
Gonna let my shield charge while it's quiet.
Where's your Pharah? She just took out enemy Pharah. I haven't really laid eyes on your Pharah in a while, so I don't know what the status of her health is.
Yeah, once they pushed forward like that, I can't go after him. So I don't know
okay.
lose track.
You want to res the Symmetra. Yeah, there we go. It's because if she hasn't gotten her teleporter up yet and she goes down, you really want to get that teleporter, because that is how Symmetra makes up for the lack of healing, is you have that returning power. So that was a good res. Good choice of res there.
Your support has arrived.
Wow, your Pharah is dominating theirs. Their Pharah, I think, is just getting to the high ground and then just standing there, and that's just leaving her totally open for you.
My shield's there.
Okay, it might have been good to stay up there with your Pharah, because she does not look like she's being opposed at all right now. Your Pharah is just a powerhouse that is just crushing them. So boosting her up even more would be great in this case. Just because you see her getting picks. I don't see her getting countered by anything. At least nothing that's able to stay alive. Okay, now the point is getting hit. You don't want to be behind Reinhardt when that tire comes in.
Heroes never die.
Okay, so now there's a soldier. So as long as he's alive, you watch out for the for Pharah. You don't need to jump to Pharah when soldier's
Get
alive.
back there.
And it's a good thing that not everybody fell back to the point either, because it looked like just one of them flanked around. Now it looks like the fight is here, though. You want it now, you push back to the gate, and boom. Reset, you still have your Valkyrie, that's good. It's good that you didn't burn that. Okay, and their Pharah is up, so... I'm sorry, their soldier is up. But their Pharah is still wrecking house. Pharah would still be a good pick here. Oh! Okay, that was painful.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, that was lucky. Get the Reinhardt up, and now go to high ground. Okay, so, yeah, you pulled out your pistol. And while Valkyrie is great for giving you that that attacking thing, when they're pushing through and your team is split up, you do want to focus on keeping people alive. You got your Pharah calling for healing. It's a good thing that you switched and responded to that, because yeah, they were fighting. They needed those heals. So yeah, that was a good time to spend Valkyrie. If anybody went down during that fight, you would have them covered. Yeah, and there it is. Very good. Now you want to dive in there, avoid the line of sight to the point.
Oh shit, I'm dropped.
Oh yes, and if you can keep Symmetra alive, she can just microwave people when they're not focusing on her.
60 seconds.
Symmetra's also a good counter for Genji here. Oh yes, Reinhardt, very nice. You're doing okay. So far, I've not noticed any glaring problems with this defense. You guys have been holding it really well. You've been prioritizing your heal targets very well. The only thing I'd say is you could probably have stood to damage boost Pharah a little bit more, just because she's already crushing them. But so far, this has been a really good defense.
My ult's ready, by the way, so.
Okay, now Symmetra, you want to get her back up to full. Has she put her teleporter down yet? Do you know?
I don't recall.
Okay. Here's the first instance of the ads that I was talking about. Yeah, I feel like the Symmetra should have her teleporter up by now. And just a note about playing Mercy with Symmetra is a lot of times Symmetra will set up turrets early in their push to where they'll get hit by them really early on, or she'll fire her right click at the door before it opens. And so the beginning of a match is a really good time to damage boost Symmetra, just because the more damage she does, the faster her ult builds. So just for those first few seconds, if she's in a position to attack the door from long range, damage boosting her will get her to her ult a lot quicker. She wasn't set up for that, so that's not on you for this one. But Mercy Symmetra tip.
Cool.
Okay, your Reinhardt's down. You've got your res. Oh, good one. It was risky, but you got it.
It's cool.
Yeah, he was pretty far out there.
Yeah, now Reinhardt needs to start falling back because they're pushing in. They're getting behind you. Reinhardt really doesn't have any more business being up here. Yeah, and good job of keeping Symmetra alive so she didn't get picked off while she was trapped. Dive to the Reinhardt because Genji's behind you. Yeah, okay. So yeah, right there. Even though Genji died, let's see, right here. He's come your way. He's now behind you. This is the time where it would have been really good to dive through your tanks to the other side. When you're diving with Mercy using her shift, if you hit spacebar in the middle of it, you'll actually continue on past them. So that'll allow you to just shift which side of the tank you're on, rather than just going to them and then having to walk the rest of the way. So yeah, shift and then spacebar. Just allows you to
Okay.
continue that momentum. Really nice for positioning when you need to keep going. Yeah, your Genji's behind you right there, but it's a good thing that the Diva Bomb got him. And yeah, they had to switch to
GG.
Roadhog at the end, which I don't think really was going to do them any favors at that point. All right, so yeah, that
We
was
got
good.
3 golds.
Play of the game.
We had a
Symmetra.
Symmetra.
Yeah, I don't know where the Symmetra's teleporter was or anything, but it really didn't seem like you guys needed it very much. That's always a good thing.
I didn't even notice the Symmetra.
All right. So yeah, that was pretty good. That yeah, the attack was nice and smooth. Couple small issues to take care of as far as target selection, but it looks like your Mercy's pretty solid for that defense. You're doing a great job of prioritizing the heals, and yeah, just knowing when to switch from heal to damage boost. It's the only thing I can see to really work on right there. The Pharah would have been great to damage boost most of the whole way through. Pharmacy would have just totally wrecked their comp. So, all right. So next, any questions you have for that one?
So how would I know that Pharaoh was doing well? Just the fact that she never came in the death feed on the right?
Yeah, you can look at the kill feed, and you'll see that she got kills on the enemy Pharah several times, and she was never really
Okay.
dying. There was, and like even when she came back down, and you could actually see her, it didn't look like she really even needed a whole lot of help. So yeah, you can tell that she's cleaning house when she's the one getting the final kills on people.
So is it better though to go to her or to keep everybody else alive?
You definitely want to prioritize keeping the team alive, but when they're doing a good job of doing that on their own, like you got the Reinhardt in the choke point, nobody's getting past him. People are just able to shoot through the shield, no problem. And Pharah, meanwhile, is just above them, being completely ignored. That's when it's okay to go up to Pharah, damage boost her, and then if somebody down below needs healing, you just Guardian Angel down to them, heal them up, come back up to Pharah. That's
Okay.
usually how the pharmacy works. Is you prioritize the Pharah, but if anybody else needs healing, you dive to them, you dive back. There's a lot of mobility going on with that.
Okay.
All right, so next video, let me see what you sent me. That I want to look at the Symmetra on Junkertown one, because that's one I've actually watched all the way through, and definitely have some pointers to give you on that one. Because I do play a lot of Symmetra. Let's see. And this actually starts. Yeah, right here's a good place to start it. So this place you're about to put the turret is a great spot. I did not know about this spot before I watched your video of it. That is a great spot to put the turret because they walk past it. They're not looking that direction. It's hidden from them. That is exactly what you want, is things on the opposite side of doorways, basically, that they're going to be coming through.
Defenses in place.
Attackers
Underneath the bridge, behind that sign, as long as it's concealed by the sign, would also have been another good spot. Right there, that one kind of stands out. They can see that and take it out early. And over here, nobody ever really comes into this building, so those turrets are probably not going to get a whole lot of return. Turrets on the payload, not a bad thing. This one right here, yeah, right outside their spawn on the opposite side of the wall they're coming out of. Now, you've already got 6 turrets up, and the first turret you put down is the one that is in the absolute best place. So when you put this turret down right here, it deletes that first turret. You've already got 6 up, so it removes the first turret that you put down, unfortunately. So I do like that you're putting your turrets in pairs of 2. I like to do them in 2s or 3s, usually pretty close together, because one turret by itself won't do a whole lot. The big issue though is because you spent so long getting that last turret up, you're now right outside their door when it opens, so you're kind of in a vulnerable spot right now.
Yep.
And when you're that close to them, using that that barrier like you did, it's good if you can time it right. But nobody really even had time to see you there yet. So that barrier didn't really do you a whole lot of good. If they had like tried to early hook you or something, then that would have been clutch. But when the closer you are, the less effectiveness you're going to get out of that barrier. It's less for retreating and more for like an attack thing, to use the barrier and then follow it up so that they can't hit you as you move forward. Or if your team is attacking from long range, and you put a barrier towards them, the longer range it has, the longer distance it has to fly, the longer it's going to keep you guys protected. So barriers typically better for long range use. And like I said about Symmetra earlier, a really good opener for her is you can put turrets even at bronze. You can even put them just right outside their door, just in a big arch on the outside of it. So as soon as they walk through, they're just getting lit up by the microwave. If the Reinhardt goes first, he's getting hit in the back. If he turns around to block them, he's got his back to your team. All the while, Symmetra's best opener is firing her right click at the door, which is where you hold it down, you charge it up, you release it. The longer you hold it down, the bigger the ball becomes, and that ball goes through shields. So even if they have a Reinhardt and an Orisa and a Winston, all with their shields up, your ball just ignores them and will just pass through the entire enemy team. If you fully charged it up, you could get teleporter in just like a few seconds right off the bat there. Yeah, with Symmetra, you want to try to be away from the door, not really in the line of fire, and hitting them at long range early on, so that as soon as that door opens, they immediately get hit in the face by one of those balls. Most maps, if you get to the farthest you can get while still seeing the door, if you release it at like the countdown of 4, that's usually a good release point, and it'll hit the door right as it opens on most of them. Some of them it's shorter, some of them it's longer, but just get a feel for that distance, and that'll give you some really good ult charge early in the game. Okay, and right here, it looked like you were going for the Reinhardt. Again, this early, you don't want to be up in their face. Not like Symmetra's really good close up. The issue is that she is fragile. You don't have your team with you right here to take their fire, to take their attention away. And when Symmetra is the only thing they can see right up in their faces, they're going to turn and focus you really quickly. And you don't want that to happen early in the game because you want to get your teleporter up. Okay, so that was a good job of avoiding them using that line of sight. Again, nobody's going to really be going over to that left side, so that turret over there might not get a whole lot of use. And you've come up behind this diva pretty nicely. They don't have their eyes on you, but again, nobody else is really in their face getting their attention. So they're going to turn on you really quickly. And there it is. Because you're really the only person that's really up there in their faces. You got a lot of ult charge off that, but now you have to take the long walk back to actually use it. But yeah, just because you didn't have anybody else up there with you taking the flak off of you, it wasn't really a good time to engage at close range. The best time to use your close range beam with Symmetra is when the enemy team has pushed into yours, everybody is clustered around everybody else. It's a big team fight, everybody's in the same place. The enemies are going to be looking for the tanks. They're not looking as much for the small targets, unless somebody is specifically saying, I need to find this person, I need to find this person. Generally, the instinct is to go for the biggest targets they can see. So that is the time when you want to swoop in with Symmetra, when their attention is divided elsewhere. Her beam gives a big indicator of, you're being hit by Symmetra. Oh god, I need to find her. The hope is that you then melt them down before they have time to recognize that, find you, and then kill you. So yeah, if all of them see that and turn around to get you, with nobody else to draw their attention, you're going to go down pretty quickly. Looks like you guys have a Bastion. He's not really in a good position to get them if they move anywhere beyond the doorway. And yeah, your Bastion went down, your Mei went down. Your guys have lost pretty much lost the team fight. They've got the spawn advantage, so it'd be better for your team to just fall back right now. Okay. Now this right here, it looks like you're already setting up for defense on for the second push. Not a bad thing, but if you look up here, the payload has not moved very far. They still need you back in the fight. There's still some good places you can put your turret to protect the payload on the first checkpoint. So spending time back here is time that you're not in the fight, time that you're not building your ult. You're not really contributing to the team fight. So it's basically 5v6 at that point. You've got your teleporter right here. It would have been a great spot to put it, just because the enemies aren't going to push through right there. Just like right where you were inside that doorway, just around the corner to where the enemies can't see it. But then your allies can come through the teleporter and be back in the fight right away. That would have been a great spot to put it. Even if you don't put it there, putting it like behind one of these things, just on the opposite side of walls from where the enemy team is going to go. Even right in here in this wall right here, this would have been a good spot to go. And then I'm thinking okay. Right there, I was thinking it would be good to go up the stairs, put it right beside that window, because all of that puts the teleporter close to where the fight is happening, but not so close that the enemy's gonna find it, because the enemy's not going to push in that far when they're still at the payload. They're not really going to go much farther past it. If an enemy goes past the payload and around a corner, they are people will tell them that they're overextending. They're going too far. Okay, so you're putting your teleporter all the way back here, which, I mean, that does shorten the walk back, but it doesn't get your team back into the fight very well. They're definitely not going to find it back here. Nobody in their right mind on this map is going to go this far towards the spawn. They're going to get called out by their team so badly, saying you're not helping. The fight is back here, so they're not going to find the teleporter here. But at the same time, it doesn't really get your team back into the fight very quickly. You want to balance shortening the time between when they spawn, when they get into the fight, and making sure the enemies aren't going to find it. In this case, I'd say you're skewed a bit favoring enemies not going to find it, less of getting your team back into the fight here. So any of those spaces just before the actual checkpoint would have been good places to put the teleporter. Also, a note about the teleporter: don't face it opposite the direction face the opposite direction from where you want people to be facing when they come through it, because they'll come through. Gosh, how do I say this? When they come through the teleporter, they'll be facing the direction that your back is when you place it. So opposite the direction that you're facing is the direction they'll come out. So if you put it right in here, while you're looking towards the payload, they'll come out. They might get a little disoriented and move away from the payload for a little bit before they realize, turn around, and come back in. And yeah, and this whole time, ever since your first death, the payload's just been moving closer and closer to that first checkpoint. So your teleporter's about to get refunded. And you're putting up turrets to defend the second checkpoint. So the fight was still going on over here. It would have been good to get the teleporter in and then get back into the fight. If there was a team fight going on, that would have been a great time to jump in with your short range beam and just melt some squishies. Yeah, now you're back here, but your guys have already lost the team fight. You've got nobody else there, and they're kind of behind them. Oh, okay, so you hear that Widow. I just heard the Widowmaker. She was right above you. Widowmaker does not do very well in short range. You can hear the shots right here, right there, and I can tell by the surround she's on your left, so she's just at the top of those stairs. She probably doesn't know you're there, so that would have been a great opportunity to just go up those stairs and just start melting her, because she doesn't do well at close range. She's squishy. She's hard to hit for most people. But with Symmetra, when you lock onto people and they just start moving around, you don't care. You just you don't even have to follow them with your aim. You just keep them locked on, and you can melt them down so easily. So squishies are really good targets for Symmetra, especially when they're off by themselves. So Widowmaker would have been a great pick right there. Ooh, and you charge right into the face of the Reinhardt. Things their spawn's not over here anymore. You got two people you just came around the corner of. It's good idea to fall back from that. Because yeah, you don't have anybody there to help you. Okay, it's a good thing you survived that. You've got the Bastion. Yeah, that's a good spot to use the shield, because that Bastion has that big open line of sight. He has that long distance between him and the enemies, and he doesn't have a shield in front of him right now. So yeah, like going up to where he was, maybe wait a little bit longer before sending it out, so you can actually get to him and fire it from his perspective, so he has that shield in front of him that whole time. But yeah, it's a much better spot to use your barrier. Teleporter right inside any of these doorways here, like in there. Yeah, right in here is a good spot for the teleporter. Okay. This is a big map. The only time that, like, I won't say that the only time to use a shield generator is on the last point, but a teleporter is useful all throughout this map pretty much, because it's a long walk back from wherever you are. I personally would have preferred a teleporter right there, just to get people back into the fight really quickly. But hey, shield generator's not bad. Okay, so right here, you can see two enemies. They're both snipers. You don't have anybody else on your team with you, so if you keep pushing in right here, you're just gonna stagger. Oh, okay, there you go. That's a good use of the shield. And yeah, good sticking with the Widowmaker. Oh, okay. All right, that was you were doing well for a little bit there. Then the Widowmaker got behind you. I would have said turn around and stick with her. Focus on one target at a time, because if you do multiple targets down halfway, especially when they have a Lucio there, they're just going to keep getting healed back up. You want to stick with your one target and focus them down. I would have maybe even said switch to the Lucio and stick with him, just because he's the healer, and people have a hard time hitting Lucio in the first place. And then the Reinhardt coming up behind you, there wasn't really any way you could have known that was going to happen. But again, you were the only person in there. You were basically 1v4, so that it wasn't going to last. Okay. And see, now your team's here. If you had waited a little bit longer, you could have been in there with all of them. They could have been taking some flak for you. You could have been melting targets. But because you died, you're not there. Your mercy's kind of a little bit extended. Hopefully she jumps back to somebody. Oh my, not good. Get in the health area. Oh no. Oh. Okay, that was just unfortunate right there. Coming out of spawn, you see the wolves coming at you. I would have just kept pressing on into there, and you might have been able to get to the back to the safe zone. Yeah, that was just an unfortunate ult placement right there that it managed to get you. And yeah, see, it is still a long walk back. The fight's still going on. People might be contesting if they get there in time. No, okay. All right, so yeah, it's a good time to set up. Good time to set up turrets. And that's actually a really good spot right there, because if they ever come under that bridge, they're not going to be looking up. Again, that's the opposite wall from where they'll be coming. So yeah, that'll just be hitting them from behind as soon as they go through. That is a good spot to put turrets. Might be spending a little bit longer than you need to getting that one set up there. If they come through the bottom, they'll see that, but if they come through around the long way, they won't. Looks like you got some attention on somebody there. This is where you don't really need a teleporter as much, because your spawn is right there. If you're gonna put a teleporter down here, you probably want it like with where the payload is right now. You want to get your guys back into the fight early, so maybe one of the rooms over here on the outside, that's actually closer to where the payload is, maybe in the middle of that circle would have been close. Enemy might have found it at some point, but the payload's still early in this checkpoint phase, and that would have gotten people back into the fight a lot quicker. So again, balancing out, getting people back in quickly, and having the enemy find it. At this point, I mean, it's better to have them back in the fight and risk the enemy killing it while still has a couple charges. Looks like none of the enemies are on the payload here. Good hit with that ball. That was a good opening to that push right there. Even though there's nobody else there, firing the ball and then following it. So if it hits anybody, you can then start melting them. That's really good to do. Just move in. Yeah. Now that Lucio, you want to stay on that Lucio just because he's really good at contesting points by himself. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the Widowmaker's down. You've got another teammate on the other side over there that they might be attacking. That would have been a good time to just keep chasing the Lucio, maybe get up on the point and stick with him. And now, yeah, now they've all come back in though. Okay. Let's see, where did you use your barrier that time? Right there. Okay, so you didn't have your barrier up there, but when fighting that D.Va would have been an okay spot to put the barrier. Just reduce the damage you take for a little bit. It would. There wasn't really a whole lot you could have done. But D.Va does have a hard time hitting small targets. So you can see which direction you're facing with that teleport. It's actually oriented pretty well. Alright, and that just took out all of your turrets. And yeah, again, really good spot to put the turrets right up there on that bridge. I would say maybe even stack more up right there. Would probably been a good call. Good thought to shield your team from that. Oh, that would have been a great spot to have the shield instead, though. With the orientation that you had that shield going up right there, it wasn't really going to last long. It wasn't going to do a whole lot because when Reinhardt Earth Shatters, the next thing he usually does is charge in, and that's going to do a whole lot of damage. I would say maybe hold on to that barrier because in the next couple seconds against that McCree would have been a really good time to use it. Then you got this Lucio right in your face. Again, you want to stick with Lucio. Like good targets that Symmetra is like. Symmetra and Winston are really the only people that are really good at taking down Lucio and Genji. Just because they're fast, they move around a whole lot, and it's really hard to hit them with anything. But Winston can lock onto them. Lucio can. Winston can lock onto them. Symmetra can lock onto them. So Symmetra is really good for taking down Lucio. That should be one of your primary targets in a team fight. Okay, so yeah, that was a good job of melting him down. Your teleporter is getting pretty good use right now. One charge left. Yeah, your teleporter is getting used. Okay, and I can see you typing right here, while your team is like winning the team fight. At this point, you've taken down 3 of them. You've lost your Junkrat. You just lost your Mercy, so you're gonna need more people back up in there. It's still anyone's fight at this point. The payload's not moving. Like you can see at the top, the payload's not moving, which means the enemy has been knocked back, been beaten back off it. So you've got time to set up turrets. You've got time to respawn everybody. Yeah, you want to stay with that Lucio. You want to really stay on that Lucio. That's not okay. Yeah, when the Lucio is the only one up there, and there's really not many people there to help you take him out. That's when you want to stop putting down turrets and actually focus on the people that are there. Turrets should really only be put down when you have time to. It's not something you should do in the middle of a fight when there are people around, unless you have no targets you can get to. So it probably would have been a good idea to just put a pause on putting turrets down and just chase this Lucio down so he's not there. Because if he dies right now at the beginning of like when this D.Va's engaging, that's their team starting to come back. And if you take out their Lucio right at the beginning of that, then they are down a person. They're down a healer, which is even bigger. So yeah, I would have said probably just stick with that Lucio. Hope the Roadhog can finish him off. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's good. And at this point, you don't want to push into this Reinhardt. I really hope you don't. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, now you do have time to put down some turrets, so that's good. However, because of where the payload is, it's less likely that they're going to come around this way, and more likely that they'll come under the bridge through that choke point there. So I don't know how much use those turrets are going to get. And now you're kind of overextended right there. I think the Roadhog and Hanzo had backed up. The Genji had backed up. Yeah, okay. So your Genji was dead, and you were just sort of caught out there with nobody there to help you. A lot of Symmetra is sticking with the team and making sure that they're the ones taking the hits while you're the one that gets the microwave kills. And your Mercy's kind of overextended as well.
I will follow my path.
Pocketing the Genji. Taking advantage of the fact that they have snipers, which is very difficult to take Genji down with, especially at close range. So they're really taking advantage of that, giving you guys time to push the payload back. But and yeah, good time to set up turrets because the fight's not on the payload. They're still struggling to bring it together. You can hear the D.Va above you. You can hear the footsteps right there. Do you use a headset or do you use speakers?
For quick play, usually speakers.
Okay. Because yeah, a headset is really good for that surround thing because you can hear exactly where people are. So yeah, you can hear that D.Va above you. She's probably gonna drop down behind you and start hitting people in the back. She was behind you, not in front of you right there. And that barrier really does have a long cooldown, so you don't want to use that when it's not going to get any use. You really want to save that for when you can actually get use out of it. And turning around, putting it right in that D.Va's face might have been a good time. Side note, another really good time to use Symmetra's barrier is against Pharah. If there is a Pharah ulting, send the barrier at her, and if it passes anywhere near her while she's still ulting, she can't stop firing those rockets, and she's going to blow herself up. So that's a really good time to save it for. And right here would have been good, where you got that open area with those hit scans. I hear the Lucio on the point. Yeah, he's the only one there. Probably just keeping it contested. That would have been, yep, there you go. You want to focus him down. Nice. There you go. D.Va's still up there. The barrier is also really good to save for D.Va's self-destruct. When like, have you heard the self-destruct enough that you can, like, in your mind picture the sound effects leading up to the actual explosion to be able to time when it's exactly going to explode?
Sort of depends on where I'm at. I've been able to do it with the other shield characters, but never really with Symmetra.
Okay. So yeah, with D.Va, it's a 3-second warning before it actually explodes, and you can hear the sound of it, and there's a small pause right before that. If you put your shield up between you and that explosion before it goes off, you've got a good window of time in there between when you fire that shield and when it actually passes through the explosion. So the more space you can give yourself, you don't even have to use a line of sight. You could still just stay in the fight and then just hit that shield up and keep in the fight. Yeah, if you're gonna use a teleporter, this is probably a good spot to put it. Because even if they do go in this side, they're gonna be turning left to go towards where you guys are spawning. But again, the orientation, because you're facing it in the direction that you want people to go, they're going to come out in the opposite direction. So they'll be facing the wall. If there are enemies in this doorway, they'll have your team will have their backs to them when they come through the teleporter. That D.Va is okay. D.Va's a good melt target with Symmetra because she doesn't have a lot of damage output, and it's hard for her to hit small targets with a spread weapon. So yeah, that D.Va would have been good to go after and just melt down. You're kind of just leaving the fight back there. The D.Va is by herself. That's the perfect opportunity for your team to just collapse on her, take her down, stagger her out so she's not there at the start of the next team fight. Yeah, and at this stage in the game, nobody's really going to be going in that room. So you want to know where, like, what your enemy's path is. Like put yourself in their shoes. see where their spawn is, where the payload is, and figure out what path or what possible paths they could use to get there. It's okay to put the turrets on flanking routes, but those are not going to get nearly as much use as the ones that are put in the most common route taken. So yeah, here on the outside, because the payload's been pushed back, that's now a good spot. The shield doesn't block. The shield doesn't block fire strike. And we get to another ad here. So does that make sense with the main route and flanking routes as far as turret placement? Yeah. Okay. So if you put it in the higher traffic areas, you'll get more use out of them. And the opposite face areas as well. If you have the turrets where they can see them before they get hit by them, then they're going to take them down before they even get to them. But yeah, as long as they are hidden to where the only time they'll see them is when they're already getting beamed down, then that means they're in a good spot. So like that right there, they might see that before they get to it. Their Reinhardt is by themselves. Yeah, you guys have won this team fight pretty much. And that's where you want to have the barrier for. Yeah, I think you had your barrier on cooldown because you used it into the fire strike. I think no, you used it right there. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what you were throwing it at. Yeah, I couldn't really see what enemies were over there.
I was probably just not facing the correct direction.
Yeah. But yeah, it would have been good to just save it a couple seconds for that high noon. Right there might have allowed your team time to kill him before he got it off, or given you space to move up into his face. Although with that Reinhardt there, that probably wouldn't have been a good choice. But you guys have pretty much won this team fight. That does swing things their way, but I don't think they're gonna bring that back. Yeah, especially when the Reaper gets caught in there, and then McCree is just cut off from moving in. So yeah, your team doesn't need to be pushing up anymore. Yeah, it's good to stick with the payload because that, if nothing else, that provides you good line of sight. I can hear the D.Va again coming around above and behind you. She's by herself, which means she's a good target. Oh yeah, go for the Lucio. You're probably gonna die back here, but if you can pick that Lucio with you, you guys have the spawn advantage. Nice. Okay, and right. Oops, sorry. I went way too far back there. Oh gosh, where are we here? Oh gosh, I don't know where we were. Sorry, I hit the wrong place on the bar. I tried to pause it, but instead it went all the way back. Okay, yeah, here's where we were. The D.Va was behind you. I would have said deal with that because she's trying to flank and she doesn't have her team support. Okay, you take down the Lucio. Their Reinhardt's not paying attention. Their Ana sees you, and is that a Sombra? No, wait, I can't tell if that's a Sombra or a Symmetra. I usually get them confused. Okay, that's a Sombra. So yeah, at this point you are, you do have people's attention. You're out in the front. So after you kill this Lucio and he gets that boop on you, that was kind of giving you the perfect opportunity to withdraw from that fight. The Sombra wasn't going to chase you because she was getting hit by that turret. She couldn't hack you or anything. And this is the perfect time right here to just back up. You've gotten the pick. Back up and not be a casualty. If you push in, the Reinhardt gets in front of you. Okay. Yeah, maybe stayed in there a little bit longer than would have been advisable, but you managed to survive it, so that's good. Okay, and that was a good spot to use the shield because you have the soldier. You can clearly see he's putting damage down. You just send out that thing. If he uses his rockets, then they're gonna hit the shield. So that was a good time to use it. Good spot for the turret. Again, it won't do a whole lot by itself. And yeah, so this whole time you've been sort of fighting at the very front. And again, Symmetra works best when it's kind of chaotic, when everybody is like on top of each other and in each other's faces. So yeah, when you're at the front, you'll be the first person they see and the first person they go for. Yeah, right there would have been a great time to just keep falling back right there. And your whole team is moving back as well. even though you can't see it, if you don't see anybody else on your team in front of you as Symmetra, that's not the time to push forward. So just watching for where your team is. Oh, good shot. Okay. So yeah, now they're just pushing the payload. They're pushing the payload forward freely. But yeah, that would have been a good time to just back up, regroup. I didn't see who else died in that fight aside from you, but and the Hanzo. Okay, yeah, Sombra's a good pick right there. Oh yeah, you can chase her down and finish her off. Yeah, you got your microwave beam. Keep going on her. Yeah, there you go. You are, however, with that, you're a little ways away from where the actual team fight was happening. And let's see, your diva got a couple. Let's see, where would be? Let's see if I can find where would be a good signal to get back. Yeah, it looks like so they're pushing the payload right now. The payload is moving with 3 people on it right here, and the Sombra just left the fight. She is out of the fight. Effectively, she died just for a shorter amount of time than normal. Yeah, right there would have been another good time to push back or fall back. You're spending all this time up here while the payload is being contested, while it's moving forward. You got 3 people on your team down, and they could really use you back there. It's being contested. I would have even held off on putting the shield generator down just for the few more seconds to get up there and get on payload. Now at this point, it is so close. It is so close to the end. You just want to practically be on it. Don't even let yourself step off of it. Right here, because you're so close to the end. Good job melting that Rhine. And yeah, those turrets are, the turret on that side is not bad, but at this point they're just trying to get to the payload. So I don't know if that turret's going to get a lot of use. In the middle of a fight, you really do want to be focusing on using your beam rather than putting turrets down. So yeah, that was a whole lot of time right there spent trying to put that thing down that you could have been dishing out damage with your beam. So yeah, middle of the fight is not a good time to put turrets down. Turrets are for a setup phase. God dang it, I did it again. Oh wow, I went right back to the exact same spot though. Perfect. Okay, so you push them back, you push them off the payload. Okay, yeah, here comes their last push. They've got the Lucio hit. They got the EMP. They're going to use all the ults they can right now to try to win this last fight, because this last fight is what it comes down to. Now is when it. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you could have gotten back to the payload in time, but when you hear that soldier ult, that's when you should be looking for him and trying to find a spot to put that shield barrier. So it looks like this was a quick play. So, yeah, a lot of things with the teleporter placement in the early game, especially. You're sort of out of the fight most of that first checkpoint. So it was really like a 5v6 for that first point. Turret placement. You had a couple that were off on the sides where people are going to be going less. So yeah, want to concentrate those more into the higher traffic areas. On the sides of the walls that they're not going to see them until they're getting hit by them. When you put down a teleporter, people will come through it facing the opposite direction from where you're facing when you put it down. And don't put turrets down in the middle of a fight. That's much better spent time using your beam and saving the turrets for setup. Do you have any questions about this one?
No.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Is this helping? Are you taking notes first of all?
Mental notes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, and you'll be able to watch this video afterwards as well. So, I'll probably put this up on YouTube so you can look back on it anytime you want. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. We've probably got time for one more before I have to, or before you have to go, right? You have to go.
I've actually got to go in about 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you don't even have time for one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I got to get there.
All right. Usually, go and link me one more. Like, pick which one you want me to do in Discord. and you can hop out. I'll do the VOD review of that one as well, and then I'll send you the link to the video once I get it finished. So you'll have that third VOD to look back through as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be one of the heroes I've already reviewed for you, or you can pick a new one. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some water.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Still with me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, you want to do this one?
I just
Alright.
picked one that was
Yep. That's good.
pathetic.
Yeah, let's see. Let's take a look. And there are some fights, like some games, where there's not a whole lot you can do about it. If you've got a team that's not really well put together, a team's not working well together, even if you play your best, it's not gonna make as much difference because there's not a whole lot you can do by yourself in such a situation. It is a very team-based game, and in the lower SRs, you'll find a lot of people that are playing it solo, basically, just going off on their own. And even if everybody else is doing that, if you're doing your best to actually fight with the team and like waiting for them to group up, waiting for somebody else to be there, that'll really help. Even if it doesn't save the match, it'll at least improve the quality. So, all right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and review this one for you. I'll send you the YouTube link when I've got it up, and you can send me any additional questions you have.
Awesome.
And I would like to play quick play with you sometime. See if we can walk through some stuff. See if you can apply some of the things that I can show you. So.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to do it. I'll talk to you again sometime.
You betcha.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
By the way, there's a disconnect button above the user settings button, so you don't have to actually quit out of Discord entirely to leave the channel quickly.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
The little hang up, but yeah, it took me forever to find it. It took me forever to find the disconnect button on Discord. I kept having to go through my program like and Discord. Otherwise, I just X out and I'd still be in the voice channel. Okay. So let's see.
Hey, Rebel, you got a mic?
All right. So let's see.
Okay.
Looks like this.
So, would you mind going
I can't
tank
tell
for
if
the
this is
comp?
quick
If you
play
can't
or
tank,
competitive.
that's fine.
You do have somebody communicating though. Oh, wait, he's in a 5 stack, isn't he? Okay, yeah, he's 5 people.
Would you mind going tank for the comp? If you can't play tank, that's fine.
I don't know who these guys are that you're grouping with. Yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah, let's go, baby.
Well, first of all, this is nothing to do with you. But when a group stacks up, like when you have 5 people in a group, really you should be able to let the other person, the 6th person, play whatever they want. Because I mean, you are the majority of the team. You should be able to build around one person. Another thing I really hate, God, is when you've got a 3 stack in your team, and all of them go DPS, and they expect the rest of the other 3 people to pick up the tanks and the healers. Or if there's there was a 4 stack one time. They took 2 tanks and 2 DPS and expected the other 2 people to be the healers. And jeez, I was telling them, if you are more than half the team, you need to bring at least 1 healer to it. Maybe even a healer and a tank. So I mean, that's just sort of etiquette, I guess. team etiquette. If you have a 3 stack, provide at least 1 healer. Please. Mercy doesn't heal though by proximity in ult mode though, right? She still has to left click. Okay. Yeah, to answer that question, you pick 1 target for your heals, and there is a proximity that it spreads to. If you have everybody in a line, put somebody in the middle, it'll heal everybody. Pick somebody on one side though, it'll only go so far. Yeah, she does still have to left click to heal when she's ulting, but it is a spread. Like it chains basically.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, do they have a bastion? Yeah, they do. Okay. All right, so right here they've got that bastion right in your face, right outside your spawn. I think that so and you've got D.Va and you've got Reinhardt. The D.Va is defense matrix. This has nothing having to do with you, by the way. The D.Va is defense matrixing. The D.Va's blocking the bastion. Rather than going around the side, that would have been the perfect opportunity for Reinhardt to use his charge and just charge right into that, because yeah, the D.Va is blocking the shots, and there's a very small window that Reinhardt can actually use that.
Yo guys, move to the right of the bus, flank him.
And Reinhardt's getting hit by all those turrets now.
Spread them out.
Oh man, you got all these turrets around everywhere, and nobody's dealing with them. You got this Reinhardt in your back line.
Watch your back.
Yeah, that Reinhardt should have been on that other Ryan, because he wasn't being attacked from the front. The Bastion had pushed back. Nobody's dealing with these turrets. Okay, somebody got them.
Yo, everybody group up on me.
You are doing a great job of prioritizing the heals. You want to get to that Reaper. Oh man, so that Reinhardt just jumped right into the Bastion's face. Oh, it's hard to say whether or not it's even worth it to go for a res right here, just because he got trashed by that Bastion. You don't know if there's a shield around the corner there.
Balls.
Yeah. Reaper peeked around there. Reaper's going for it now.
Don't overextend, guys.
Yeah.
Don't overextend.
People are really.
I got the orb on me.
Yeah, you guys have lost this team fight right now. This is the time to back up, regroup, and retry it. If you do have a microphone in the game, like when you're playing, it's a good time to use it to tell your people to back up. Like, it's okay to make calls when nobody else is making them, but when you have 2 people that have just charged in and died to a Bastion, especially your tank and your Reaper, the 2 people that are going to be most able to deal with him, that's a good time to just get on your mic and say, like, back up, regroup.
Yo, Symmetra's trying to get more turrets up. Wait for the rest of the team.
Oh, and they have a Symmetra. Yeah, their Symmetra's going to get a teleporter really early. Reinhardt also probably should not have even respawned as Reinhardt. He might have been better off taking somebody that was not going to be totally wrecked by Bastion. Bastion is the ultimate shield tank counter. He will just shred shields. He will shred tanks. D.Va is pretty much the only exception. D.Va and Zarya. Because Zarya does have that ranged grenade that she can use to do that corner peeking I was talking about, like you do with Junkrat or Pharah or McCree or Hanzo. Even in Platinum though, people just don't know how to deal with Bastion, so it's just really painful to watch a team just like throw themselves at the meat grinder and just watching Bastion just mow them all down. So really, you have not done anything wrong yet. Your team comp just is not set up to deal with Bastion right now. Your D.Va and Reinhardt could have comboed really well to block the Bastion shots, charge into him. That's when you break the barrier. That's when you break the siege pretty much.
All right, Ryan, get that barrier up. The second that Ryan drops his barrier, hit Earthshatter.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, you want to heal that Ryan, and now's the time to res. Oh, good res. Good res. Yeah, that Ryan's just walking all over you guys, and when he does that, the Bastion just comes in.
All right.
Fuck nearly.
Yeah, really not a whole lot that you can do as Mercy, given this situation. What you can do though, you're doing really well. You've got a Hanzo up there. That's actually a pretty good pick right now.
What do
If
you want?
Bastion's a stationary target, he's really
yeah,
easy
we
to
need
hit.
higher DPS. This
Okay, so you don't need high. Like you said somebody said recomp. Was that you that said recomp? Yeah, you said recomp. That is actually a good call, because your comp is not working for it. The Hanzo was a good swap actually.
This DPS isn't working.
Reaper's
we need
not
something that can
bad.
take down barriers, not.
Really though, what would have been a really good swap right here would actually have been Symmetra, because you can actually use Symmetra to take down Bastion to decent effect. Because even if he's got the shields in front of him, if you can just find a corner to use, charge up your ball, peek out, shoot it, peek back, charge it up, peek out, shoot, come back. The ball is going to go towards Bastion. It'll ignore those shields, and one of two things will happen. It will either hit him for a good amount of damage if you've charged up that ball, or it'll force him to relocate. And if he has to keep relocating, Bastion can't do a whole lot. I don't know if this is just a tough situation because you're playing Mercy, and if you're the one that recognizes that you need a Symmetra for this, or that Symmetra would be good against this, I mean, it's hard to make that swap off of Mercy just because of where Mercy is in the meta right now. You do have Lucio, but he's not going to be providing enough heals comparable to Bastion's damage. So, gosh. Yeah, a Symmetra would have been a good pick for either your Lucio or one of your DPS to go, or maybe even your Reinhardt. Because, I mean, there's not a whole lot that Reinhardt can do against Bastion.
You want me to, actually, after we switch our DPS, I'll take the side thing.
The Hanzo, okay, the Hanzo ult, oh god, it looked like that Hanzo ult totally whiffed. It would have been a lot better for him to just Sonic Arrow, find out where the Bastion is. Basically, this whole thing is going to be about countering the Bastion. That's the only way you're actually going to win this, is if you guys can take down that Bastion.
Yo, do you want to do it right now? Because I have my ultimate. I have the sound barrier.
And their teleporter's up, so I mean, they're going to be getting back into the fight really quick.
Let me call it in.
Okay, so I see what the Reinhardt's doing. He's going up top. He's going to try to jump in beside them and Earth Shatter around where the shield is. The issue, though, if we look back here, that would work if their Bastion was right here with a shield across that choke facing this way. But he's over here, waiting for you guys to come around the corner, so he's already perfectly set up to counter that. And if they have a shield in front of him, that Earth Shatter's not going to do anything.
Alright, ready?
It's a good thought, but the Bastion's just not in the right position for it.
Call it in, and then we'll do it.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen here. He's going to jump in. He might get the Earth Shatter off. If he does, it's not going to hit anybody, and then he's going to get melted. That's if his feet even touch the ground. That's
3, 2,
my
1.
prediction here. Okay, so combining with the Lucio ult, good idea. That'll at least give him some survivability, give you guys a chance to push in. But there we go, Earth Shatter. Yeah, Earth Shatter got shielded. Bastion's already on top of him, melting him down. This is where the D.Va needs to get in there and defense matrix, but she charges right on through. Oh man, that was just painful to watch. I knew exactly where that was going. Oh man. The Lucio ult was a good thought, because that'll give you a lot more health to resist that Bastion. A better thought would have been to have everybody group up around the corner there. Lucio ult to where everybody gets it. Make sure you're all together. Hit that Lucio ult. And as soon as that goes off, everybody just move around the corner and just dogpile Bastion and take him down. Because there's no way they're going to be able to heal through Reinhardt, Reaper, and whatever else they had. Especially if the D.Va is defense matrixing it, and Bastion can't even burn through the Lucio shield. So that would have been a much better team move to do. But that would have, and it's good that you have people coordinating. I like that you have your Lucio and your Reinhardt talking to each other. They had a plan. It just wasn't set up for the situation. Because you had that Lucio ult, though, you could have gone in, taken out that Bastion, and done some real damage to their defensive setup with only one ult. And then, oh gosh, then you hit Valkyrie and use that to continue the push.
Should have probably went farther behind him.
Yeah, but instead, yeah,
Straight up
they just had
behind them.
that Reinhardt ready to shield their Bastion. They were ready for that.
Yo, they're falling back. They're falling back. Push now. Push now.
Not a good time to push because everybody's just now respawning. If you push now, you're trickling in. All Bastion has to do is just take a second or two to set up wherever he is and just mow them down as they walk in.
Push, push, push.
Oh, that was unfortunate. That was unlucky. I don't think he was even aiming for you. I'm pretty sure he was either going for your Lucio or your Reinhardt.
Push, push, push.
Yeah, he was trying to get your Reinhardt just to knock that shield away, and you just came in at the wrong time. That was just unlucky. Gosh, looking at it, was there any sign that you could have damage boosting the Reinhardt? I guess that's hoping he's gonna fire strike.
Push, push, push.
Then healing up the Lucio. Yeah, right there. Even if the Reinhardt wasn't charging in, you're jumping into a Bastion's line of sight with no Reinhardt shield. I mean, you have your Reinhardt shield there. You could have jumped in behind him. Even if the Reinhardt did have his shield up, though, the Bastion is still going to melt right through it and not provide you a lot of time where you're going to be safe. So no, not a good time to push because you only had a couple people there.
Res? You're gonna get a res?
Yeah, that didn't work because he called for a push when not everybody was there. It was like, and I mean for Reinhardt, it's hard to tell, I guess, when it's time to push because you're at the front. You can't see where your team is. You don't know that there's nobody behind you. So I mean, like, yeah, I can just imagine Reinhardt with the shield, like, all right, charge in, guys. Like, realize that he's by himself. I find that happens with me a lot when I'm playing D.Va. I will try to charge in. I will not be watching the kill feed. I won't be keeping track of when my allies are respawning. But yeah, I mean, yeah, coordinating a push is something you want to do, like, especially when you're diving into a Bastion. That's something you want to coordinate when everybody's actually together and able to act on it. Otherwise, you're just jumping into an unfair fight and you're gonna get melted. So I'd say it probably would have been good to maintain that broken line of sight from where the Bastion was. Another way to deal with Bastion on attack or defense. Again, he has to stay in one place, so that makes him easy to line of sight. As I've said, you use the corner, just peek out, shoot, peek out, shoot. He has to have a long time seeing you to actually get the same amount of damage. So if he's only able to get one shot on you, if you're just trading one shot for one shot with him, anybody is going to beat him. But what you can do is use that line of sight while you're engaging the rest of his team. If he's sitting in one place, he can't move around, but you can just put something between you and him, something solid that he can't burst through, like a wall, a pillar, something. And do that, just move from cover to cover while attacking the rest of the team and taking them down. Because if he can't see anybody, it's essentially a 5v6 fight in your favor. So you can tell your team to use line of sight. Make sure Bastion never even sees them while you fight the rest of the team that is actually moving around their Bastion to actually see you. Their Bastion's going to be staying still. If he moves, you just relocate. You don't have to be dealing with the Bastion while you're dealing with the rest of the team. So that's generally the team maneuvers to counter Bastion, is just to don't even let him see you. Deal with the rest of the team. Once you get a couple picks, then you organize the push onto Bastion. Get a D.Va to defense matrix him, and then anybody can jump on him. You've only got a couple seconds with D.Va, but you can defense matrix while using rockets to take him down. So I mean, really, I don't know how this map ends up. I'm assuming that you lose it just because your team can't figure out how to deal with the Bastion. But it's really not this one is not your fault. This is not anything you could have done better, unless you were the one that was coordinating the team. It looks like the Reinhardt and the Lucio were the ones that were doing the talking and the coordinating. But honestly, in the low tiers, even at Platinum where I am, Bastion is a very hard thing to play against, just because nobody knows how to do it. So if you come up against a Bastion, even if you're playing Mercy, advise your team. Tell them to use the line of sight, basically the LOS. Even if you don't tell them what heroes to play or anything. If you're in a situation where you can switch to Symmetra without being a detriment to your team, if you're switching off of Mercy, not a really good swap off, or if you're playing Diva, don't swap off of that because Diva's good against Bastion. But if you have the opportunity to switch to Symmetra, that'll go a long way. But in general, you can advise your team to just line of sight him, and by effect, you take him out of the fight. You make him irrelevant. You don't need to focus the Bastion down. You just need to make sure that he doesn't get the chance to be useful.
Rebel, can you switch with me?
Damage increase.
Oh, now he's moved up. You guys have a great opportunity now to line up. I think he's moved up. Oh yeah, that Reinhardt shield's just gonna get melted.
Or Trash Mouth. Can you go to a tank that does DPS or no?
Peak performance level.
What's that?
Oh, okay, so you got their Reinhardt.
Alright, they just lost their
Yeah, they lost their
Ryan.
shield.
Fuck.
You still have people up. Get your Reinhardt up, and okay. All right. So let's see what went wrong there. They charged in. They got rid of your Diva's defense matrix, but it killed their Reinhardt. So at this point, I believe you have your entire team alive. I don't think anybody else has died in this time here.
Yo,
Yeah,
Stone,
you've got Lucio, you've got Reaper.
Can you go to a tank that does DPS or no?
Okay, their Orisa did put down her ult though, so that Bastion's going to be doing a lot more damage now as well. But your entire team is here. Your Reaper's flanking around behind. That's good.
Alright, they just lost their
They have a teleporter
Ryan.
up, so their Reinhardt. Yeah, they have a teleporter up, so the Reinhardt's not going to be out of the fight for too long. Let's see. Your Reinhardt shield is cracked, so it's probably about to go down.
Alright,
Your
they
Diva's got her mech back. This is where you want the Diva to go up at the front with her defense matrix.
Ryan.
And that'll be the thing to charge in with. The Diva totally ignored the Bastion though. Diva just went right past him. Reinhardt got melted.
They just lost
Where did Reinhardt die?
Ryan.
Yeah, Reinhardt I think got excited and just ran in there. He might have been trying to shield against the Bastion.
Ryan.
Again, this is not your fault. This is not your lack of ability to play as Mercy. This is more of an analysis of your team and how to beat what this is that's holding your team back right here.
Fuck.
Yeah, your Reinhardt got really excited, dove in, was probably trying to shield against that Bastion. But again, shields are not going to work. Bastion will just demolish shields so fast. It won't even use a third of his clip to take down a Reinhardt shield. Maybe, I don't know. It's just real quick. Your Diva would have been better served boosting the Bastion. Actually, you know what? The Orisa ult is all the way back here. Bastion's not even getting the effect of it. It'd be nice to know what ults you guys have right now. But yeah, they've got... Okay, so they got the Symmetra turrets and they've got the Bastion set up. This is just a hard situation. Maywall. Yeah, Maywall would also be good right there. That would be a very temporary solution. But what that would allow you to do is, if you put that up in front of the Bastion, that allows you to go around the other side of the statue and actually get onto the point. Yeah, that would allow you to get onto the point. I wouldn't say that's the only thing you need. It's not the only thing that would have saved it. Okay, yeah, with that defense matrix up, that's a good time to push in there.
Get on the point. Get on.
Okay, so I would say that would have been a good time to use your Valkyrie. Not because I think it would have changed a whole lot, but because you've only got a couple seconds left, you may as well use it. It might come in handy. You might need that second res, and Bastion might not be able to follow you if you're directly above him. They don't like. It looks like they're not really relying on anybody but Bastion for this. Their Bastion is their primary damage. He's still shooting forward, so I think before you even dove in there, I think if you like were to, and the Zarya was a good swap too, much better than Reinhardt because she can at least absorb some damage and benefit from it, and that gives her enough time to cross from cover to cover. But she just charged straight into him. She still had that Symmetra turret behind her.
Bastion's almost dead.
So, yeah, it was good to wait for the D.Va to defense matrix the Bastion. You charge in, you res the Zarya. At that point would have been the time to use your Valkyrie because you can get above that Bastion. The Orisa shield's not going to be able to protect him very well up there. If it comes down to just you, you've got your pistol. And yeah, you would have gotten more healing out there. I'd say like right after hitting the Zarya, ult, fly up. You guys did manage to get past there. The Reinhardt and their Mercy are down because of that Reaper ult, but the issue is that the Bastion is still alive. And everybody just ran right past him. Gosh, what? How did they even get that far? So you've got the Reaper up here. The Orisa shield is over here. Reaper is shooting at Orisa. Symmetra, it looks like they're going after your Lucio. And the Bastion is just totally got bypassed. They just ran right past him. Then this is your baby D.Va over here. See, everybody ran right past the Bastion right there when he was really the only thing holding their team together. I definitely would have preferred it if that Reaper had caught that Bastion in his ult. Looks like it looks like he had hit his ult back here, so Bastion would have been just out of reach of it. So yeah, he could have probably placed that better. Let's see where. Yeah, he was all the way back there. Looks like so the Orisa shield was on the Bastion.
Get on the point.
Then the Orisa swapped off to put it on herself. Yeah, so not a whole lot you could have done for this. The Valkyrie might have allowed you to last a little longer, get above that Bastion to avoid his cycle. I mean, it's hard to look up and then turn around and look back down, and like it is actually kind of hard for Bastion to hit somebody that's directly above him. That's not to say that he can't do it and do it to great effect when he puts his mind to it. But in the heat of the moment, that might not have been his first thought. So that's really the only thing I can say that you could have done right there. And it looks like the Bastion just got totally ignored. Everybody just ran right past him and just left him to annihilate your team when he was really the only thing holding their team together. Yeah, so that was a total Bastion butt hug there.
All right, guys, we need to be more aggressive, like way more.
Oh
aggressive.
no, that is not the answer at all. Right there, being more aggressive. It's definitely to be more tactical. That line of sight is Bastion's bane. If Bastion can't see you, he can't hurt you.
And fuck around the choke point. Like we just need to go in, right, and like go in as a group.
Yeah. Now that is a way to deal with Bastion, is just to group up and just jump on him and totally massacre him all at the same time. But that just comes with so much risk because he just has a big wall of meat that he can just shoot into. He might get a couple kills. Even if he just gets one kill, he's done his job. If you guys just kill Bastion, it then goes down to a 5v5, and you haven't really gained much. You've taken down the thing that's really holding you back, but it's still really risky to do it that way. So if you were going to do that, if you were going to do the Bastion dog pile, you would want to have your D.Va it requires a lot of good timing too, because as soon as everybody comes around the corner, defense matrix up, Reinhardt charge. If you have a Genji, have him jump in there as well and get really close. Or you have the Genji stay back a little bit. As soon as D.Va's defense matrix comes down, Genji puts up his deflect. Genji's really good against Bastion too, especially ones that doesn't know how to hold its fire. So there are a lot of different options for dealing with Bastion, but they require coordination and strategy. And a lot of people just don't know how to deal with him. But in general, line of sight is going to be your best friend when dealing with Bastion.
Kind of call targets and take out targets.
Select your hero.
But yeah, calling targets, selecting targets, that's good and all, but only if you're doing the rest of it. They'll likely have a Mei. I don't know the logic behind them having a Mei. If they have a Bastion, they can just do the same thing and just press up on attack on you guys. I would say probably expect them to run a Bastion again. Gosh, let's see. So with the comp they had, they were basically relying on their Bastion. So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna run a Bastion again. But you can't really afford to make a wrong counter move, because if they have a Bastion again, you've got your 2 shield tanks. They're gonna get melted. They're gonna take the point, because you really are only gonna get one team fight. If you lose just one team fight here, you guys are gonna lose it because you didn't get any progress on the point. You're going for a draw at this point. It was useful last round, maybe not as much this one. I mean, Mei is really hard to deal with as well. And yeah, it might have been good for you guys to run a Bastion as well, because who's to say that the enemy team would have, like, yeah, I mean, they might have had a difficult time dealing with that as well.
We have enough DPS. We need another tank, though.
Let's see. What do you have for your comp? I need to...
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Guys, I will block this game.
You got Orisa. Yeah, I mean, you got...
Yeah, block
Watch
it.
out, sniper.
Who's your other healer?
I got many snipers.
Where's the other healer?
Her. I got many.
No, second. You only got one healer.
Yeah, block
Watch
it.
out,
Not that it's going to make a whole lot of difference. I think a Symmetra would have been a good choice, though. I think Symmetra would have been a good choice. Not in place of Mercy again. This is more of analysis of your team here than you. You were doing fine. There's not a whole lot you can do as Mercy in this situation. Like in the first video, your picks for heals are good. Your rezzing was good. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of opportunity to res, but when there was, you were getting the right people up. I haven't seen you have a choice and pick up a damage instead of a tank. So yeah, your Mercy play is not bad. And just maybe the timing on that Valkyrie, because you didn't get to use it at all. But I mean, just really the way that the team was composed didn't give you a whole lot of opportunity to. But yeah, Symmetra would have been really good here, because you can set up that bottleneck right here. You can put turrets on either side of these walls here. A better place to wall off, though, instead of in this gateway here, is to back up just a little bit. Let's see, right here. If you have the Reinhardt blocking right here, that's a good spot. If they go around on the if they try to go through on the left there, you at least have them passing in front, so you know exactly where they're going to go. You can have some Symmetra turrets placed over there to get behind them, hit them in the back as they pass around it. You can have some Symmetra turrets over here on this wall, so as soon as they pass through it, they get melted. And you can have them in the room here on the right, so if they try to flank around that way, it cuts them off that side. But if you have the shields right here in the choke point, they just get to nail them, and they have the benefit of line of sight using the bus. So yeah, that gateway is more of a choke point for attacking rather than defending. It looks like the Orisa is going to use it for defending, though. So let's see what the enemy team has. I see a Winston. Okay.
Yeah, No, they went left. They went left.
Not bad. All right, so the call went that they went left.
Yo,
So it's
push
good
up
that your
the
tanks are
trash mount.
positioned right there.
Push up
See the
the
Reinhardt
trash
up top. That would have been a good time to let them know, let your team know. Yep. Yeah, if you let your if you see that Reinhardt up there, I don't think your Reinhardt saw him or your Orisa because they were all focused on the forward. So that's when it's good to let them know. And I see that in this map you've been typing a lot. It's much better for communication to use your microphone. As people have been doing, you get the messages a lot quicker. It's a lot easier to hear them. Yeah, because you see that Reinhardt up there, you can imagine he's going to try the same thing that yours did. He doesn't have Earth Shatter yet, but that's just an easy call out for him to just drop down and just do a sideways sweep into your front line just to clear them out for their people to move in. So by jumping in there, it was unlucky that that they got you because he was aiming for your tanks. But I mean, yeah, when you see Reinhardt up really high like that, it's really obvious what he's about to do, because Reinhardt doesn't do much when he's on high ground by himself. He wasn't shielding anybody up there. He wasn't really, he can't really attack well from high ground. So he was either going to shield people that were getting up there, which it didn't look like there was anybody ranged behind him, or he was going to drop down and just totally swipe your front line. And, okay, that was painful and unlucky right there.
I need healing. I need healing bad.
Yeah, you guys are since you guys only had the one healer. Oh yeah, you've lost the team fight. They're gonna cap the point. That's gonna be it.
Oh my god, Koreans.
You don't have anybody you can jump to either. Yeah, that's lost.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing you could have done there. But yeah, as soon as people started dying though, you were gonna lose the team fight. Let's see. Your Widow picked off their Pharah, which was good. That was a good pick. See the Reinhardt jumping down. Yeah, it probably wasn't a good idea to just hop right into the front line there. Yeah, you're down, and then you're the only healer, so basically nobody else is going to be taking nobody else is going to be getting heals. You and your Widow went down. That's probably when the enemy just started pushing in. They took down your tanks. They have a Bastion again. Yeah, they got the Bastion.
We need another healer. We don't need another tank.
Oh my god, Koreans.
So, yeah, I think having a Symmetra from the start would have really helped. Even on attack here, it's sort of frowned upon when people do attack Symmetra. Like, people see that and they go, "Oh, okay, I guess we're throwing." But really, it would have been a good move against that Bastion if the Bastion's using a lot of shields. Barring that, though, any team can beat Bastion by line of sighting him. The problem that a lot of people focus into is that they try to just jump on Bastion and prioritize him. But really, if you make him your last priority and make sure that he is rendered irrelevant, that is the best way to beat Bastion. And that's really the takeaway from this video, is that this wasn't anything that you could have done differently. Is that your team, you see, your D.Va went right past the Bastion and just left him to just mop up your team. Your Reaper had an excellent opportunity to catch him. Yeah, your Reaper had an excellent opportunity to take the Bastion down, and you guys might have been able to get that first point. Oh, but it didn't happen because he didn't catch the Bastion in there. That was just unfortunate though, that it went that way. Your Reaper had the perfect opportunity to turn that around, but he failed it. So, all right, well, that is it for the VOD reviews. Ethernet. I hope that helps. I'll look to play with you sometime. But yeah, that last video, it wasn't really anything that you could have done better. What you could do, you were doing. It was just that one thing where you jumped into the front line and were unlucky that the Reinhardt got you with his side swipe. But It's something you probably could have seen coming, that I don't think your tanks were aware of. And if they were, they probably could have backed up, or if your damage could have prepared for a May wall right there. Would have been great. Like as soon as he drops down, just wall him off. Would have been good. But yeah, it was really an issue with just the way your team was approaching the Bastion attack. And actually, honestly, that exact same situation could very easily have happened in Gold Platinum, just because it takes a while, like up into Diamond, somewhere in there is where people figure out how to deal with Bastion, and it's just like Bastion's really easy to play when people are just throwing into him, just feeding him like that. So yeah, so you did well, you did fine as Mercy right there. I'm going to